Welcome back, guys. I'm back today with my new art journal, and today I'm going to make very interesting art journal. So I'm very happy that I got time for the art, which is very important for me. And today I'm using so many art supplies. I'm using newspaper, paper, brown paper, and print in it, and I'm using it as a collage. So basically, in art journal you can use so many things. You can apply papers, and you can do stamping and lots of things you can. So it gives you a very space and freedom. You can do so many things in that. So I'm happy that I got the time, because all the day you got so many works to do, like the cooking and clean all the mess and taking care of baby and reading books and so many other things to do, but you can't find time for the art. So but if you take it as a priority, then you can do this work. Like if you're in an office and you got a break, lunch break, you can use the time in your artwork. Or if you're in a bus, you should have a sketchbook, and you can give your time in that. So it's all about the priority. Whenever you get a time in which you are free, you can observe, you can look around, and you can create something new. So that will give you a really positive energy, and you get lots of time for the art. So today I'm going to use so many art supplies in it. I'm just going to attach these paper and just pasting it on my art journal, and it's a kind of a collage, and I'm just using it to make it some different and interesting composition. Because in 2020 I just decided that I have to give lots of time in creative work. So in collage you can do lots of experimentations. Like you can use bubble paper, you can use stamping, you can give a little texture to your art journal, and you can write so many things over it. It's all dependent on you. If you are a poet, you can add poetry in it. You can make small sentences, and a very meaningful quotes you can add in it, and it will make a really interesting art journal. So I'm just pasting it over brown paper and newspaper, and I got some interesting prints. I love yellow color, so I'm just pasting around and making a composition, and I'm not going to wet the paper. And I just used a pastel pencil. Now I'm using the negative areas, and I'm filling it with watercolor, a little bit of like browns and grays and blues. These are the human figures. I love to work on human figure, because the human anatomy, that is really interesting for me being an artist. I love the contours that the human body got, because the contours are like very interesting thing, like the horse, and you can say the human figure, or the animal figure. It is very interesting to draw these things. So today I just selected female figure, and I'm just using it in my artwork, using just the contours of it. It's just a 3-minute sketches, and I'm just using it, and I'm just covering the negative areas with the watercolor, and these colors are like blues and reds. And after if I use directly over the page, it will give a very solid texture, but I need a very wet look. So that's why I'm just using water on the paper first, and after that I'm applying the watercolor over it. So lights and darks, I'm just leaving the paper with just lots of light. And for the mid-tone I'm using this brown color, and for the darks I'm using dark blue and mixing of black, and for the dark I'm using that color, that shade. So basically in watercolor you go for light to dark, but in oil you can use dark to light, it's all up to you. But in watercolor you have to take care of all the light to dark shades, so you have a little bit more control, because you can't cover the mistake in watercolor, but there is lots of margin of mistake you can do in oil and acrylic. So in watercolor you have to take care where you have to give a stroke of dark color, because you can't cover it. If you're having some you can say any mistake you do, you can't cover it. So I'm using these dark colors on the negative areas, and all the contours I'm using that dark color. Now I am working on the third figure, which is like a kind of a female who is trying to sit, but she's not sitting in a proper way. So I'm just covering that negative area with the brown color and mixing of so many colors and using that on the paper. So this art journal is totally interesting for me today, and I'm using darks with brown, black, and a little bit of blue in it, and I'm using it as a dark. So these are the negative areas. I'm covering it with dark color. I'm leaving the page for the lights, and for mid-tone I will use red color and blue color for the dress, and for negative area I'm using some darks so the figure can come out from the page, and cerulean blues and Prussian blue, the mixture of that, a little bit of mixing of black in it. So this is the shirt color, which is red. In watercolor, in Vincent & Newton's palette, you got so many shades of red, the crimson color, scarlet, and so many other shades of red. So it's all up to you which color you want to use. I love to work with bold strokes, and I'm using blue for the dress, and I'm leaving the sheet, leaving the page for the white color. I'm just covering the negative area with so many dark colors. So lighting can be improved if you do quick sketches, 2-minute quick sketches, 3-minute quick sketches, and there are lots of websites on the internet where you can find the pictures of models, and you can easily take a reference for your work, and you can draw the figures. So basically it's all about the contours and the game. It's a game of anatomy. So if you are having a great command on anatomy of human figure, then you can draw it very easily. But you should have know-how of anatomy if you want to draw human figures. I'm using this black charcoal pencil, and I'm giving darks with it, and I'm using another charcoal pencil, and I am using it for dark. So in art journal you are having a margin, you are having a freedom of using so many art supplies, and for darks you can use marker colors and water pen, And there are lots of art supplies that are available in the market. You can do experiments, you can use inks, so it's all up to you. I'm using calligraphical ink for the darts. It gives a very epic look, so that's why I'm using calligraphic inks in that. And experiments makes me really happy. It makes me really happy when I do experiments with lots of colors and lots of art supplies basically. So I am making it a little bit more dark, and now the negative area I'm covering it with poetry. You can say very rhyming lines. I'm just writing over it, so it's a kind of a message for everyone, and it can make the art journal really meaningful and interesting too. Basically, it's all up to you, whatever you want to write over it. If you're a poet, you can write something of your own poetry, and if you're a good writer, you can write different rhyming lines in it. And usually I got my own diary in which I write my own feelings, but I don't rather write directly on my art journal whatever I'm feeling or I want to say. But in art journal, I just write whatever is interesting for me, or whatever I read in newspaper or something on Pinterest, something interesting writing. I just save it on my phone, and I used to write in my diary. And whenever I create some artwork, I used to add in that, so it gives a really meaning in my art journal. So some journals are like very abstract. You have to make it really indirect, but some are like very direct in which you write. So I think in writing art journals, you are having more freedom to make it more interesting for everyone who don't know the language of art. So I'm using this white marker color, and I'm giving a more rich look in a figure to make it more artistic, and giving some highlights in it, and it gives a really rich look to the art journal. So these are all the experiments you can do in your free time, or you can say, okay, if you are having time for your own self, you can take art as a priority. And I'm happy that I take my time out for this art journal, and I'm sharing it with you guys. And if you like it, do tell me, and have a nice day. Guys, do like my video, share it, and do subscribe the channel for watching my upcoming